Well, hello everyone. Today we are absolutely sure to drop some F-bombs on this episode. So if you like F-bombs, then today is your day. And if you like talking about money, or even if you don't like talking about money, actually, if you don't like talking about money, today is your day as well. My guest today is Dr. Amanda. And we met very recently in the last few weeks through an introduction by a mutual friend. And we got together just for like a little Zoom chat and totally hit it off, like super besties right away. And so I'm really excited to dive in with you, Dr. Amanda.
Woohoo! I love being here. It's such a happy day when I look at my schedule. I'm like, yes, I get to hang out with awesome people podcasting. That's a great day.
It really is. It's so fun. It's the best
It
meeting
really,
ever,
yeah,
the
it
podcast
is.
meeting.
It is. I so agree. Yeah.
Well, let's just go ahead and dive in. Like before I get to any of the who you are and what questions I might want to ask or vice versa, let's just open the portal. Taking a deep breath, closing my eyes. So right here, right now, Dr. Amanda, in this incarnation, in this time and space today, what is your soul's purpose?
Mm, I love that when this happens, I get like tingles in my fingers when I have
Mm.
like a flash of goodness. That question is so great. And the answer that just comes immediately is to be an inspiration, to help people ultimately love themselves more and make money doing what they love. Like it's like such this big picture of really, it's like shine your light in the world and manifest magnificence. And that's really what I do. It's like how to love yourself more and feel really damn good every day so that you can do what you were put here to do. So I help people like break through any of that unconscious stuff that's keeping them stuck so that they can wake up and be like, oh my God, I love my life. I love that. That is my greatest joy in this
Mm.
body in this lifetime.
Mm. So I assume that means that you wake up every day saying, "Oh my God, I love this life."
Yes. And it hasn't always been that way, but yes, now. Yeah. Yeah. And when I don't, like on the days that I wake up and I feel kind of weird, I'll go, oh, something's out of alignment. What's going on here? And it's that guide for me where if I do wake up and I feel weird, I know something is off. And so
Mm.
I just play with my tools to check in with myself and recognize something's not, something's off here. Is it other people's energy that's going on around me? Is it that I'm out of alignment in something I'm doing? And then I can pretty quickly shift back into that state of joy. It's not all the time. And I've learned the tools to get back into that state pretty quickly.
Gorgeous, which means you can help others suss that out as well because you've been through it and you know what to do for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll say like it feels so good to be able to do that now because I mean, I've had times in my life where I was suicidally depressed. And the only reason I decided not to take my own life was because of my kids. And it
Mm.
was like, I can't do that. I don't want to do that to my kids. And so I just kept moving forward. And I look back and I'm like, oh, thank God that I got through those times because, now I get to be a bringer of light for myself and other people. And I needed to go through those challenging times or I'll say I got to go through those challenging times to get to where I am now and have this perspective and this transformation to be able to have experience like been there. And I know that it's possible to be on the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the alchemy that we do as we mature spiritually, emotionally, um, that we see even when we're in the thick of the challenge, we know and trust that it is serving us in some way. And the more you know and trust that, the more efficiently we move through it.
Yeah, that's so true. Because it used to be when I get stuck in those things, you don't really know there's a light at the end of
Yeah.
that. And you go like, oh my God, is this my life forever? And now it's like, oh, now I know this challenge is helping me see some part of myself that I wasn't willing to see before.
Mm. So as I'm looking at you in our Zoom call, I see you're surrounded by sacred geometry that very similar to the tattoos I have on my arm
Yeah. I
and the
know. Look, I
jewelry
don't
I
think you
have.
haven't,
Yeah, there you go.
you live in a warm place, so you don't see all my tattoos, but it's cold here. I know. When I saw your picture before we met, I was like, oh, I already love her.
Full sleeve of jungle and sacred geometry.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. And you also have a big sign in the, or your logo in the background, which says NFA, and you are Dr. Amanda. So I would like to hear about A, what you are a doctor of, and B, what the heck is NFA?
Yeah. So let's see. Doctor first, PhD in sociology. So I went to school for a long, long time to get my PhD in sociology. I focused on gender, crime, and yeah, gender and crime really in sociology. And so I worked with incarcerated men and did life history interviews and got to hang out with I interviewed 40 guys and we sat in a room together while I did these life history interviews. So I spent 4 hours with each person and listened and heard and shared with each other like stories of transformation and trauma. So I got to hear their childhood stories and then their gang involvement stories and then their prison stories, and had this amazing experience of falling in love with men, which before I didn't really feel that way so much. So it was actually pretty incredible. And so that was my sociology background. And
Wow. I mean, talk about alchemy right there. Like, I have a similar background. I have a master's in social work, and I worked with offenders of domestic and sexual violence for a while.
get out of here. That's,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
wow.
I didn't go
Yeah,
as deep with it as you did, but I have a little bit of that background, which is very
yeah,
not a common not a
yeah.
common thread.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and for me, it was like, at first, that's so cool. And I'm not surprised that now that I hear that. Yeah, I went in trying to understand why men are so violent. And it came out going like, oh, men are traumatized, just like all people can go through trauma experiences, and it causes a cycle, and it's possible to come out of it and be a different person. And it just really helped me to understand the way men think. And of course we can't generalize all men, but it's helped me understand things that I was really black and white in my thinking. I grew up fundamentalist Christian, and so it was like a lot of black and white ideas about things. And so it helped me broaden my thinking about people in general, and definitely men. And I really realized, like, oh my God, men, like, these men have huge hearts. Even though they've done horrible things, they've
Mm,
also done these horrible things based on a lifetime of a lot of trauma, starting very, very young.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that black and white thinking, man. I grew up in a pretty fundamentalist Christian environment as well. And then in college, maybe you did this too. I went towards black and white thinking, but with the more liberal strand, like
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I majored in anthropology and women's studies, and I was very much into that, and like hardcore, diehard like feminist. And it's not like I'm not a
Yeah.
feminist anymore. It's just I've redefined what that means for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. That's wild. You and I very
yeah, very similar.
similar.
I now call myself
Yeah.
a divine feminist. I'm into the divine,
Yeah.
or a divine femininist, a divine femininist.
I love it. Yeah, totally. I think it's that, like, whenever I think about black and white thinking, it's always this experience of deep, that word inspiration comes to me. It's like you get deeply involved into the things that you're experiencing, and it's that next evolutionary transition of your soul where you get to go like, I'm all in on this, and then it breaks you through. It's why I love spirals, because it's that upward growth trajectory. It's not a straight line, it's a spiral of expansion, and you got to go like through the up and the down to expand to the next level and take that quantum leap. And so it's like, it's wild how I look at, fundamentalist Christianity was a part of that growth edge for me, and then sociology. And I have a graduate certificate in women and gender studies, and like, so funny. And my ex-husband used to call me the feminazi.
Oh
Like, I
yeah,
was so intense about the way I felt. And now it's like manifestation and quantum physics, and it's like such a shift in direction, because
totally.
in sociology, it's the thought of your surroundings create your reality. Like the macro system of oppression is what creates your reality. And then here I am, manifestation, like you are the creator of your reality.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a jump to ultimate self-responsibility.
totally. But
And there,
in the co-creation with the universe, which
yes.
is the ultimate expansion.
Well, and but then, I mean, I don't want to get too wild and crazy, but there's the ultimate self-responsibility of the individual, me, I am, and then there's the ultimate self-responsibility of the large macro consciousness, right? There's a collective
Totally.
consciousness, and we together are co-creating. And if you're into the whole unity consciousness thing, we have some self-responsibility even from the perspective of our environment. And
Yeah.
so like it's a reflective universe.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get too far into like victim blaming, right? Like,
Yeah, of course.
you know,
Yeah.
those of us who have that background in social work and sociology, it's like we don't want to go there.
Yeah.
There is still things that happen in our world that we don't have conscious control over. Yet the
Hmm.
more empowered we are to see that we can sort of that we can work with quantum level vibrational shifts internally, like wild crazy magic happens.
Yeah. And liberation from
And
whatever was holding
liberation,
you back
yeah, I mean that's the thing,
before.
it's like the self,
Yeah.
the self responsibility equals total liberation and freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yes.
And I'm less
Yes.
concerned as I was
Yes.
back when I was a die-hard leftist liberal. I'm not so much into like the government needs to take care of me and take care of everybody. I do think that people have like God-given rights to, you know, education, health, all of these things.
Yeah.
But it's more sort of like this community-inspired um,
Yeah. Yeah.
paradigm that I'm into.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Wow. Awesome. I totally agree. And it's interesting because NFA is all about radical responsibility. Like
Yeah,
that's
what does NFA
really
stand for, Dr.
so
Amanda?
NFA is no fucking around. Yes.
I promised y'all F bombs. We're
I
going to
have
start now.
it right. I have it tattooed on my arm, my logo, NFA, no fucking around. And I mean, really, it's about, you know, that one of the precepts or NFA money mantras is radical responsibility. So be radically responsible, knowing that you're the creator of your reality and decide, wake up every single day and decide and commit to being prosperous, powerful, poised, like energetic within your own being and knowing that you're the creator of reality, and then recommit every single day to that. And to, you know, what that turns into is money magnetism because you are high vibe joy, and it's impossible to be high vibe and not attract wealth. And wealth in whatever version that means to you. For some people, that's buckets of money, you know, and really the buckets of money gives them the freedom to do whatever they want with their time and live fully in their zone of genius. And so that's where it's all integrated. You know, we get to become wealth consciousness in and of ourselves, and then we attract it to us. And it takes you being NFA about it. And so, you know, NFA for me is like a lifelong motto. I used to be an avid athlete and I would name all my sports teams NFA, team NFA, and we'd always win, of course. And then I was coaching one day this client. He's like, man, you're like my tough love dad, but you're also really soft like my mom. It like's really working for me. And I said, well, I'm NFA. I'm not fucking around about your results. Like I care about you. And I shared this story, and then I named my package NFA transformation, and I put it on my Instagram bio. And this woman reached out, and, you know, I had my story of going from food stamps to 6 figures fast. And she reached out. She's like, I want to interview you for my podcast. I love that NFA. And we were talking, and she goes, you need to brand your company that. And I was like, that would be kind of nuts. Like, who puts the F word in their company name? And I stayed up all night. I couldn't sleep. I'm like daydreaming about it, thinking like, is this a smart move or not? And then I woke up well, I didn't really sleep. So I got out of bed in the morning and I was like, I'm doing it. I'm naming my company NFA. And so yeah, that's the story of NFA as a company. And it's really an essence, you know, it's like an essence of you loving yourself, doing what you love, enjoying through radical responsibility, and creating just really the ultimate wealth, which is enjoyment of yourself in this life through business building and making money and having money be spiritual and fun.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about how money can be spiritual.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's impossible. This is an interesting thing to think about. It's impossible really for anything to not be spiritual, I think, because, you know, I believe that I don't want to get preachy here. I definitely have shifted out of religious thinking, and I'm much more spiritual. And it took a lot of time to transition. I went really, really intensely away from religion when I grew up, after having, like we were talking about. Yeah. I was like, I want no part of that. I would have like a visceral negative reaction to quote unquote religious people. And then I started transforming myself, and then that completely went away. It was like, oh, choose what you choose. I don't care what you choose. And for me, the spiritual part is like, we are all energy, and it's impossible to separate from that. And so everything is spiritual. And then really in a quantum physics model, everything is neutral until you give it the energy otherwise. And so, people have a huge charge on money. So they either infatuate it with it, they resent it, they fear it, they feel good about it. Like there's a lot of emotions that go into money. And so in manifestation, it's easy to shift. I can help people shift really easily, knowing what their inner subconscious beliefs are. And I do this based on knowing what they think about money, because money is one of those tangible measures of a lot of things that people are feeling internally. So I always tell people your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If you don't like what is going on the outside, change what's within. And so what's going on the outside is money, right? What's within is your mindset and your feelings and your energy around it. And so money is just a playful place for me to help people spiritually evolve, I would say, in the quantum physics way.
Right, because honestly, if you can tap into that, the mindset, the soul set, heart set, whatever you want to call it, that would attract money, prosperity, wealth, abundance of the financial nature, then you're also tapping into so many other beautiful vibrations, right? Like
Yeah.
love, gratitude, joy, freedom, you
Yeah.
know, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness,
Yeah.
community. Like you just like when you start to go on that journey of and doing that sort of like internal vibrational upliftment work, like the domino impact is huge.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like money affects every area of your life.
Yeah.
The way you
Yeah.
think about money and feel about money affects every area of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's where it's just such a fun point of origin and focus for me with people. I mean, it's amazing to have people come to me and be like, I want to make more money in my business. And then in the end, they end up like being completely different people. You can never be a completely different person, but like the version of themselves that they've always wanted to be, because they're broken free from all of those limiting beliefs that got planted when they were little kids that they haven't learned to break through. And this is the wild thing, is that every way that you are today has been somewhere planted in your history, and you keep playing it out over and over because you've bought into the belief of it unconsciously. And so, it's really fun to help people bring to their conscious awareness what they're thinking and feeling, so that then they can choose, do I want to continue to play out this reality or rewrite the story and do something different? And it's a lot easier than you'd think. It's just that you need a guide who knows how to do it. And if you're ready, you'll find me. I always trust that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the things
Yeah.
start to show up in your life whenever you
Yeah.
are ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. They'll show up differently than you think sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
it actually almost always it's not what you think it would be.
Yeah. Well, and that's there's this conundrum with manifestation that I absolutely love. I love paradoxes, and I love finding the way to alchemize paradox. It's like my nature is
Yeah.
to find that and celebrate it. But the paradox of manifestation is that, like, desire the thing that you want, the feeling that you want, desire that, and then release all attachment to it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's people struggle with that a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah.
totally.
We
Yeah.
all do, right? Because you
Yeah.
feel like, well, if I care about it, how am I supposed to detach from it? Like that
Right.
doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Right. And it's really, I
Yeah.
think, and correct me if I'm wrong or expand upon it or whatever, but it's really like desiring and caring about whatever it is, the feeling, the end result that you want, and letting go of the strategy, letting
Yeah.
go of
It is.
the how, and
Yeah.
just really getting into the why and the what.
Yes, well, and you're exactly right. So what happens is you want to hold on to the feeling and really become the feeling manifested. And so let's use a really clear example. Let's say you're starting to build a business and you go like, I'm ready to get to break through to 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever the number is for you. Let's just say 6 figures. So I'm on my way to 6 figures, and you want to focus on the feeling of that fulfilled. So, and it's not about the money, because money is neutral and doesn't really do anything. It's what are you going to experience with those 6 figures? Is it bigger impact through your business? Is it taking your family on vacations? Is it, list all the things, and you step into that feeling of like, oh, that's who I am. And then you feel that, feel that, feel that. And you just let yourself be in that space, and you let go of you needing to know, oh, the 1,000 steps to get me from where I am now to the 6 figures. You don't need to know that. You don't have to make the plan. You just know the next first step, because then the universe will show you the way. Because what happens is you have the desire and you start freaking out internally about not knowing the plan and not thinking you're enough. And resistance is what stops manifestation or slows down manifestation. And resistance gets caused when we get stuck in our head worrying about not knowing the way. And that's almost always I could say 100% of the time resistance is what stops manifestation, but usually what causes the resistance is your doubt in yourself. And you're thinking that you have to know all the answers. And so I always like to remind people in my 3-step manifestation formula, know what you want. So decide clearly with certainty what you want, take steps in the directions to I usually say take massive action in the direction, but it could just be action. One step. That's it. One step in the direction. Let the universe bring you opportunities. And so in that bringing of the opportunities, like we were talking about before, it almost never shows up the way you think it's going to. And so you can't plan for it. And you got to let go of your control of hyper planning the outcome, especially for like type A people. Most entrepreneurs have some type A in them. Otherwise, not much momentum is going to get built. But the type A people are the ones who get really stuck in analysis paralysis, over planning, hyper controlling, and all of that causes it to take longer. Then you start to get upset and go, I'm impatient. Like, why isn't it happening fast enough? You start to beat yourself up, and all of that just causes it to take longer and longer.
Yeah. Wow. I love the 3 steps. Those are good. Breaking it down, Dr. Amanda.
Yes.
Do you have
I always do formulas and steps to make it simple and easy and straightforward.
Yeah, I love that. I like that a lot, because whenever we get into like talking about the things that we like to talk about, this like inner vibrational, self-responsible, consciousness, unity consciousness reality, can get really sort of like mysterious and esoteric. So it's really helpful when we actually have like little bite-sized nuggets of actionable things we can do, or formulaic things that we can do. And our human brains still kind of need that, even if we are angelic beings from multi-dimensional planes.
Yeah, totally. Well, the wild thing too is when you have those, I call it practical manifesting. It's like you got to have the action steps when you're starting, especially because it's nearly impossible to make the spiritual. To define spirituality is hard, and so having someone that can show you how to experience it, then your body knows how to do it, and then it attracts it. But you've got to have like the bridging of that gap. So I was thinking back to your question in the beginning. It's like, what is my quest in this body? It's like, in a lot of ways, it's being an inspiration for people to open their mind to the possibility that they can be radically responsible and manifest anything they want using actionable strategies. if I were to say it in like a really coherent way, that's my gift to the world, because I think like I have a huge heart and I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm really good at like practical, actionable stuff. So it's like bridging that gap. It's like everyday spiritual manifesting with practical actions,
Practical magic.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's fun for people to experience that, because I think we've got like this divide of the spectrum of like woo-woo people, and then really practical. And it's like, let's blend those together, because woo-woo works. I have a book in the works called Woo-Woo Works.
Do you have that book already, or is that in you coming out soon?
It's coming. It's interesting.
I love that.
I just read a book that went international bestseller, and I thought I was going to write Woo-Woo Works first, but then I decided this book would be like, I needed a simpler structure. This one's like a 30-day guidebook, the book that I already wrote.
I am a money magnet.
Yes,
It's the
go to
book.
I'm a Money Magnet book. You have free chapters. The book is incredible, like 30-day guidebook to help you manifest money more easily, but it's way deeper than that. Like it's kind of interesting because I think I'm a Money Magnet is a really playful title. It's actually pretty intense, the book. There are 100 journaling questions to help you break through your unconscious money beliefs. And every day is like a lesson with the affirm mantra. So you learn how to use affirm mantras in a way that are actually effective instead of causing resistance. And so you go through, and then when you buy the book, there's a QR code to get a free course that goes along with it. So tons and tons of growth in this book. I'm getting amazing reviews. I'm really excited about it. So then, yeah, Woo Woo Works will be coming at some point as well.
All right. Yeah, I'll put that in your Amazon shopping cart or wherever you get books. I am a money magnet. It sounds amazing.
Thank you.
I want to ask you what is, so, I love talking about what is the new paradigm? What does the new earth look like and feel like and taste like and smell like? And I just want to ask you that question too. Like, what is the new paradigm of economics and money?
Oh, that's a great question. To me, it would be it goes back to that ownership of that you get to create your world however you choose it to be. And so that's going to be very different for different people. Like I don't see a paradigm or a reality where it's like all of it's the same for everyone, because then that would assume that I know what's best for everybody.
Hmm.
So it's like it'd be more about like letting people expand to their fullest potential. And either money goes away, but we'll always have some sort of value exchange. Money is just an exchange of value. So let's just say in this paradigm, everyone gets to do exactly what they were born to do in their zone of genius and have everything taken care of in all of their needs and desires by giving their exchange of value in the world. And so it's this win-win-win-win-win situation where
Yeah.
everybody's
And there's none
thriving.
of this like in my new paradigm of economics, there's no like zero sum game where it's like if I'm benefiting or gaining, then somebody else has to lose. There's
Yes.
the exchange doesn't mean that somebody's losing anything, but there is literally, like you just said, everybody gains in this new paradigm economic
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. Yes. And I'll add this. It's impossible to grow without challenge. And so I don't see that like we can't evolve without conflict. So,
Friction, yeah.
yeah. So in my mind, I'm
Yeah.
like, it's perfect as it is now. Like,
Hmm.
let it keep evolving. It's everything's perfect as it is always, because it's impossible not to be perfect as it is, because we are one with universal source always, like no matter what. So it's like always on this quest to think something's better in the future is out of alignment with universal principles.
I love that. The entire universe that like is a beautiful sacred geometry.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can feel like it's chaotic depending on where you are in that geometry. But though if you take the wider lens, the eagle's viewpoint, then you will eventually see that there is perfection. Um,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
yeah, I love that.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. And so that's where you get to remind yourself on a daily basis. You just got to choose to remind yourself, like, whatever I'm going through right now is helping me evolve and expand into a higher version of myself. If I choose to allow that flow to happen, if I fight and fight and fight against it, it's just going to make the process harder and harder. And so the more that you can lean into breathing, meditating, relaxing, doing little small things that you enjoy every day, even in the midst of what seems like a lot of conflict for yourself, and the reason I say that is, under the law of attraction, you're going to keep recreating the reality that you're thinking and feeling the most. And so consciously or unconsciously. And so if you are constantly in this victim mindset, thinking like everything in my life sucks, you're going to keep recreating that. And so you've got to start to change. So in NFA Money Formula, it's 3 steps. It's recognize, reframe, repeat to reprogram. You're going to want to recognize, I'm stuck thinking that the outer world is causing my experience when in reality it's me. And so I get to choose to do something a little bit differently today. And maybe it's just one little thing. It doesn't have to be like, you're not going to transform your whole life overnight, right? It's not like you're going to go from feeling like hell one day to a 10 every day the next day. It's like 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and you up level, up level, up level, up level. And then you start to get a totally different reality attracted to you. And I know this because that's my reality, right? And I've helped people walk through this countless times, and it's easy to see the evidence of those universal laws in action when you just see it again and again and again and again.
I can attest to this. I remember it was years ago. I don't even want to calculate how many years ago right now, like 6 years ago or something like that, that I made a decision to set my alarm a few minutes early, wake up and dance to one song in the dark every morning. That one change in habit completely changed my life and is why I'm sitting here right now.
That is awesome. That's so, you know why, right? Like, it's like you just get up and you set your energy for the day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, that's incredible. That's such
Well,
a
and
great
that five
idea. I
minutes
love
turns
that.
to now I have a
Yeah.
2 hour morning practice because that once
Yeah.
you start doing that, you're like, oh my God, this is fun. I never want this to end. So now it's like, I got to get
Yeah.
up at 5 a.m. to make sure I have plenty of time to do all the fun stuff before my day starts.
That is really cool. That's
Yeah.
so great. Yeah. That's where, it's that question of like, if you truly believed 100% with 100% certainty that you're the creator of your reality, wouldn't you get up every day and design your day intentionally?
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, right? Like we map out like our trip to the grocery store. Why don't we map out our day every day and
Mm-hmm.
create energy around it? That's really awesome, because then it just makes everything easy. You magnetize through your energy and how you feel. So if you up level your vibe by getting up in the morning and dancing, instead of like a lot of people wake up, their alarm goes off and they go like, oh, I feel like crap. I've got all these to-dos. And then they check their email and then it's just this, like downward spiral of feeling like crap. Of course your day is going to go bad. Like wouldn't, how would you think it's going to go any other way?
Mm. Yeah. Not fucking around here.
Yeah.
Getting up and we're dancing.
I love it. Yeah.
How can people find you, work with you? What do you got coming up?
So many good things. Yes. So book, I highly, highly recommend. It's funny because I grabbed it right before we got on. I'm like, oh, they got to see the book if you're watching on YouTube or wherever. So I Am a Money Magnet book, the top 30 money making affirm mantras to manifest more. So for that book, go to IamAMoneyMagnetBook.com. You can download free chapters if you want, order it there from Amazon, pretty soon Barnes and Noble as well. Yeah, that book I would say is the easiest way to start to get a lot of interaction to understand the way that I do things in my brain and how I can serve you and help you shift your money mindset. For the women out there, I have a podcast called the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. So go to the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast.com. All kinds of cool stuff there. Like you can come on my show and we can do a biz breakdown session. I also have parties with listeners and we broadcast that to promote your business. Lots of cool resources there. My handle is NFA Money. So if you go NFA Money Dr. Amanda on Google, you will find lots and lots, so much stuff that you could spend years. And then my newest exciting thing is like, oh, I can't wait for it. On April 15th and 16th will be our very first NFA Money Breakthroughs workshop. And this is live. This has been in the making since I started my business. Like I started my business with a live workshop and it was in the middle of doing my dissertation. And I had like a series built out and I got a whole bunch of people in and it was awesome, the first one. And then I got really, really sick and I realized like, oh shit, there's no way I'm going to finish writing my dissertation if I do this, because I was so into it that I was tracking my time. And I realized I was spending like 30 minutes a day writing my dissertation. I was like, oh, I'm never going to finish grad school. So I cut the workshop off, stopped, and I haven't done another live one since. Like I've done one for other people's companies, but I haven't done my own. So this one, NFA Money Breakthroughs, is all about you having an interactive experience of transforming yourself from the inside out in your relationship to money. And so we're going to be doing like a ton of interactive exercises, meditation, like so many cool things that you will walk away a completely different person. And it doesn't matter what level of money you're making. It's about you feeling really, really, really good about your relationship to money so you can manifest whatever amount of wealth you desire.
Amazing. So that is NFAMoneyBreakthroughs.com.
Yep.
All right. We'll have that in the notes. And that's
Thank you.
April 15th and 16th. Super
That's the
exciting.
first one.
It's the
Yeah.
first
And
one.
if people are listening to this after that and they missed one, go to my website and you will see we're going to be doing, actually my manifestation is that we're going to build out, we're scaling NFA Money really big right now. And so the goal is like, we're going to have one of those a month. Like
Yes.
that's the, yeah. So we'll be having one a month, but the
The
first one's
impact
8
and
weeks.
the ripple effect shall be monumental.
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
Thank you. I receive and I agree.
Well, Dr. Amanda, thank you so much for being on Conscious Conversion with me today. It was such an honor and delight and pleasure to have this conversation with you. And I hope and expect for many more conversations to come with you because it's a joy.
Yay. Yes, you're welcome and thank you.
All right, y'all, have a gorgeous day. Thanks for listening.